Welcome to the Match Madness Show. This week I've got a very special guest from the show Talking WWE with Jay. I've got none other than Jay himself on the line this week. We had a great conversation about wrestling in general, Monday Night Raw, this Sunday's Survivor Series with our predictions, the overall direction of WWE. Will Stone Cold have another match? We covered it all. Stay tuned. We'll get it all rolling right after this.
Podcasting from the capital city of the great state of New York. This is the Match Madness Show, a weekly podcast about the world of professional wrestling.
Give me a hell yeah!
Technology, and damn near anything else that comes to mind. And now, here's your host, Matt Corsell.
Hey everybody, welcome to Match Madness. As I mentioned, this is a big week. I've got a great guest on the line. We had an awesome conversation about everything wrestling related, specifically, though, the Survivor Series this Sunday, which has huge implications on WrestleMania down the line. And he's a really intelligent guy, had a lot of informative things to talk about, and has a great mind for the business, really. And I hope to have a few more conversations with him down the line. He's got a great radio show on Blog Talk Radio. It's called Talking WWE with Jay. He's on iTunes. He's on YouTube. Definitely check him out. Highly recommended. The audio on his end is a little bit muffled due to some technical issues, which will get worked out next time for sure. But it's definitely still listenable. It's really an entertaining and kind of informational discussion about wrestling. Definitely, we talk about Survivor Series and Raw this past Monday, but we go over the overall direction of WWE. I ask him whether or not Stone Cold will have another match, Brock Lesnar, and whether his part-time schedule is continuing to hurt WWE rather than help it. And just an overall great conversation. I definitely recommend that you continue to listen and check out his show for sure. He's got a great co-host as well. And before we get into the actual conversation, just some housekeeping items here. Obviously, if you're on matchmadness.com, I appreciate it. If that's how you're listening, I'm also on iTunes. Probably the best way is to subscribe, and probably the easiest way, obviously, also to listen to my podcast is right through the podcast iTunes app. And if you're on my site, though, check out all my blog posts. I do weekly blog posts on wrestling and a weekly podcast, obviously, if you're listening to this. So if you have any questions, comments about the show, I'd love to hear your feedback with my conversation with Jay. Questions at matchmadness.com is probably the best way to get a hold of me. There's always a little form underneath each post. If you want to comment there as well, that'd be awesome. And I'd love to hear from you guys. So, with all of those items out of the way, without further ado, my conversation with Talking with WWE with Jay himself. Everybody, this is Jay. He has a weekly, actually a two-show per week on Blog Talk Radio. You're also, I know, on iTunes as well, correct? And on YouTube as well. And I see you're all over social media. So if you want to just kind of let everyone know how to get a hold of you and what your shows are about.
Yeah, quickly, the best way to find it is on YouTube now. That's youtube.com/talking WWJ. We're usually uploading shows Tuesdays and Thursdays. We usually go live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 4 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. What my co like to say, and make a long story short, go to google.com, type in our name, Talking WWJ. You can find all the links. I mean, we used to be on Blog Talk Radio, iTunes, Stitcher, Google+, Facebook, YouTube, all that, even on Twitter. You can find us. So just click on all those links and hit the follow button.
Awesome. And, I really would recommend listening to your show. I've listened to it, started a couple of months ago, and you guys do a great job breaking down all the Raws, all the pay-per-views, and you guys have a great knowledge of the product. So anybody out there who hasn't listened to his show, I would definitely recommend going and checking that out. So I guess let's kind of jump right in here. What's your overall feeling, before we get into specifics, what's your overall feeling of where WWE is headed right now?
I think we're going in a good direction. Well, they're going, not we. But you know what? When around this time, when you're close to TLC and the Royal Rumble, we always call it the road to WrestleMania. So when you're around that time, it's getting good. Now, maybe a couple months back, we get Payback and Battlegrounds over unknown pay-per-views. You may think this, well, maybe, I might not be buying this every year. Or maybe this is the 6 months that I won't, sign up for the network when there was a 6 months commitment. This would just be the 6 months that is dead and I don't like it. The turnaround in the new year, when you get the Royal Rumble, Extreme Rules, WrestleMania, SummerSlam, that will be the time that the W always does good. They put their knowledge together. They come up with great booking. Then they get lazy, and around this time of the year, they just throw anything at us. Try to do something good, make something out of nothing, of course. Give us something to watch out for. But yeah, this time, I think Survivor Series would be okay pay-per-view. It's really thin. The card is thin. But you can be excited. The build up for Team Cena and Team Authority has been going on for about 3 weeks now, and it's something you really want to look out for. And for new subscribers, it's free and, all that kind of stuff. So, next month, as I always say on my show, it's going to be live in Cleveland, Ohio. And that's where I'm from, and that's where I'll be. I got 4 seats, so I want everything to kind of unfold at TLC before we head into the Royal Rumble. I want to see Lesnar Cena in a TLC match. Even though most people say Lesnar won't compete into the Royal Rumble, but yeah, I want to see it since I'm going to be there. So I'll let everything fall off to me then. But, starting, next month for sure, great direction.
Nice. I have to agree with you on this is kind of a one-match show for sure.
Yeah.
I know there's, Dean Ambrose and Bray Wyatt. We have Nikki and AJ for the title, but this is really a one-match pay-per-view. And to me, even though the road to WrestleMania starts officially, I guess, at the Royal Rumble, to me, this is one of the big 4 pay-per-views. So it kind of the foundation of WrestleMania kind of starts at Survivor Series. So
right.
I guess it's going to be interesting to see exactly where WWE is headed after this pay-per-view. This match is going to have huge implications, and with Vince McMahon returning, it wasn't just a kind of no reason for him to return. When he returns, there's always a huge reason for it. So it's interesting with Vince back exactly what his role is going to be in this whole thing. So I guess let's start with Monday Night Raw, and then we'll go into our Survivor Series predictions. And then I've got just a few rapid-fire questions for you, just a few about Lesnar and John Cena possibly turning heel, and some kind of good conversation points. So with Monday Night Raw, what did you think of the open with the Authority and Ryback, and the Authority basically trying to get Ryback to change teams?
With the Authority, and people say on Twitter, why? Well, I'm tired of 20-minute promo. Okay, so they want the Authority to lead after Survivor Series because, to me, I like it. I like to have a segment that starts off Raw that lasts about 20 to 30 minutes. You know what I mean? Not 30 minutes, but 20 minutes, and then the first match starts at 8:30, and then you can kind of easily, bypass the 8 o'clock hour for Raw, the whole 3 hours. But you kind of gotta do something with it to make everybody want to tune in for each hour, because as we all know, the third hour seems to, have lots of views in it. But Team Authority, once again, trying to, make those attentions that if you join Team Cena, this will know happen in the future, career threatening. Join Team Cena tonight, we're going to decimate you. And they did, with Sheamus and Big Show, with Dolph Ziggler last week and this week. I mean, he lost his title. So it just shows you what the Authority is doing. If you want to apply and you want to work with Team Cena, there might be some consequences, and that's what we've seen. To me, the beginning was all about that, and then Ryback letting us know, I'm not on any team. I'm Team Ryback. And I think the Authority doesn't lose anything, but they don't gain anything. He's by himself. He's not with Cena, but all know at the main event what happened. But in the beginning, okay, I can live with that. If you wanted it to be by yourself, that's fine. You'll be a good factor. But to me, I think the Authority thinks behind, we have a great team. This team is where, we got to build up that this is the best team for Survivor Series. Survivor Series has ever seen the best Survivor Series team that we got behind us. So we're not Ryback. Okay, fine. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's interesting. Ryback kind of burst back on the scene a couple of weeks ago, and it's clear from what they've been doing that they have some really big plans for him moving forward, and they've kind of teased him moving from face to heel and then back again. So he turned on Cena last week, and then turned on the Authority at the end of the show. So it also kind of shows that, you know, the lack right now of talent, main event talent is pretty obvious every single show. But I did like, as you did, the beginning with the Authority and them trying to basically infiltrate Team Cena and letting and Ryback kind of saying, well, you know, I'm on Team Ryback, meaning he's in it for himself, but in the end, you know, he obviously did join Team Cena, and Luke Harper winning the Intercontinental title it actually is really surprising because you don't see too many title changes on Raw. And I don't know about you, but I love Harper's eyes. His eyes are money. And I just, this guy's got it. And it's interesting though, but on a little side note, I don't know, they never explained the Wyatt family breaking up. It just kind of happened. So, yeah. You know, I'm not sure. I guess that's okay, but it just they had those promo videos, and then they were just suddenly split up.
Yeah, you know what? I think what you're going to think about is, you know, when Luke Harper won the IC title, I thought that was nothing but good for business. Not just me, but people on Twitter. I mean, you know, co-hosts, we love it because, personally, I like the Wyatt family. I love every single member, and I hope they do just as well as the Shield is doing. You know, everyone is kind of getting pushed in a different way. Dean Ambrose is doing that. Seth is Money in the Bank, he's the Authority. Roman Reigns, he's injured now, but, you know, he was getting that big, you know, some big matches. And, you know, come WrestleMania, they want him in a title picture. And that's how I want the Wyatt family to do. Even though Brady's at his different moment right now. It just is not his time. I think it's time. But Luke Harper being IC champion, I just want to see what he can do. You know what I mean? Have a different picture. And with Ziggler losing the title, hopefully that just means nothing but, okay, we trust this guy. You know, you lost the title, but he can still do good without that title. You know what I mean? Luke Harper's the guy. No, and it was funny to mention, you mentioned earlier, when you look at the Wyatt family when they first debuted, did you ever think that Luke Harper would be the first to win a championship? Probably not. Most guys would think about Bray Wyatt.
That's a good point.
And it's funny. Yeah, it's funny how it's not Bray Wyatt this is Luke Harper, but to me it's just about time. And, you know, Eric Rowan should have been champion. I thought they should have won the tag team champion back in SummerSlam when they fought the Usos, but they never gave him to him. Never was behind him. Never gave him the tag team champion. But that's fine. I just want to see a big guy. And, you know, I think this is funny here. You know, Luke Harper says, I'm a player and stuff like that. Someone mentioned he needs to be a player with ties because that shirt is ridiculous. He doesn't change it. It's just always there, that stain. But, yeah, I'm excited for what he's going to do. I'm excited to make the title change, especially on Raw. I thought to me it was just a pinpoint. Know that if you weren't Team Cena, this was going to happen. And they proved that week in and week out, and they proved it throughout the rest of the night.
And it's clear that, I mean, Ziggler is absolutely over with the crowd, and he's clear, one of the best performers on Raw, one of the best wrestlers, you know, him and Daniel Bryan before he got injured, and it doesn't, I think it actually adds a little bit of luster to the Intercontinental title, which has been really a cold title, kind of just passed around from guy to guy, and not having a whole lot of value. Once Ziggler got it and held it for a while, he's a legit star, and I think he's added to the title, and now the fact that Luke Harper has it, like you said, it's interesting to see where they're going to go with this whole thing. So, and moving down the line here with Bray Wyatt's promo and Ambrose interrupting, what do you think about the whole Bray Wyatt-Ambrose feud?
Now, what I say about this is, to me, both guys need the win. When Bray Wyatt comes back, he says it's coming, and he's building up something. We don't know what it is. What is coming? Is it Sister Abigail, or is it just something, you know, that we don't know of? Is it a new member? And he needs it more, because he just came back and, you know, you interfered in Dean Ambrose's match, for crying out loud. You cost him a match against Seth Rollins. Why wouldn't you beat this guy? But then you look at Dean Ambrose, and I look at his side, and he just came off a big loss at Hell in a Cell with Seth Rollins, and, you know, it seems like Rollins actually won that to you, and he's the one who ended it. So you look at it both ways. They both need it badly. But to me, it's not who wins the first match. It's who wins the rivalry. It's who wins the feud. I think this can be a best out of three. You can have this match go at, you know, Survivor Series, you know, TLC, even the Royal Rumble. It's about who gets the last laugh. I think you can kind of split it up, and then at the end, I'm going to go with Bray Wyatt. I think he needs a little bit more. I think Ambrose is the face, and of course Bray Wyatt is the heel. So I think Ambrose will still be over, even though he falls to Bray Wyatt. He gets one win out of two, but the fans will still love him. They'll cheer him, and they'll have something for him to do. Only like Bray Wyatt, He looks like he can be a contender next year. I hope he does great, and he needs it more. He doesn't get a lot of in-ring talent. They don't put him on time on Raw. He doesn't have a lot of, matches. So I think, it's important for him to get this one and then start from there. Because you go back with Cena feud, and he kind of didn't, pinpoint actually finish those feuds out the right way with him being on top.
Oh, okay, yeah. I mean, I'd have to go with you on this whole thing. This is an interesting feud in the fact that they kind of have similar personalities, just at different levels. And obviously, I mean, as you said, this is not going to be a one-match feud. This is just the start of probably a 2 or 3 month run, 2 or 3 more pay-per-views after this, maybe culminating at the Royal Rumble or the Elimination Chamber. But this, like you said, it is almost like these guys both have to win, and it can't happen. It's hard to pick. I would slightly go with Bray Wyatt just because he's the heel, and at the end of the day, at the end of this whole feud, the babyface will win, and Ambrose will be that guy. But I'd have to go with you on the Bray Wyatt, just because he's the heel, and he did kind of return, and I think he needs it just a little bit more.
Yeah.
So. The next segment here I have that happened on Raw, and I don't know if you're with me on this. This whole the Miz Dow with the Grumpy Cat segment that they always kind of have these like segments that are just forced comedy, and sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. And I love Miz Dow in and of itself. Damien Sandow is clearly, I don't know how this team is built as a heel tag team, because they're just too damn entertaining. So the whole Grumpy Cat thing, I don't know, I thought it was kind of cheesy, but what was your take?
Well, most people say, oh my God, why are they having a cat as a guest host? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And what people say to me is, well, I say make it worth it, since everybody hate it, why don't you like it? I was just confused, was it a male or female? I mean, you got Jerry saying one, Cole saying the other. The cat was just sitting there looking, and I guess a grumpy cat. So, what was funny was they are entertaining. I love them both. Well, the Miz is from Cleveland, so of course I love the Miz. Standout's good as his own. They had a puppet, the cat, another cat, another impression. I thought that was really fun. Cool. I was dying laughing. It was really a joke for me. But other than that, everything works out with Miz and Miz now. Most people are saying they're going to win at Survivor Series. I'm not going to go into prediction just yet, but I mean, they have a shot. I mean, usually when you defend a title on SmackDown or something, you kind of skip that pay-per-view, and I don't expect them to defend the titles again. And starring Goldust once again will be defending it again at Survivor Series when they just defeated the Usos about last week or 2 weeks ago in a steel cage match. This usually when that happens, you don't see it like when you see the United States champion. Sheamus and Rusev went in there that 1 week or 2 weeks. And once that happened, Rusev's not going to defend it again. I mean, clearly that's why it's called Team Authority. They just meet him there. And don't worry about the United States Championship. We gave them title defenses on Raw, weekly on Raw before we get to the pay-per-view. But yeah, I'm a big fan of the team now.
Yeah, it's almost like they didn't know what to do with Damien Sandow at the beginning, and
right.
he had the unwashed masses gimmick, and he was very well spoken. I think he was one of the better promo guys. They just I think didn't know what to do with him, but I don't know how much longer that he can continue. As entertaining as it is, at some point the crowd is going to have to take him seriously if he's going to get any kind of respect from the crowd moving forward for an actual like main event status. So. I think right now it's a good fit for him, but down the line they're going to have to kind of put him in a little bit more serious of a persona. So the next was the Ryback and Cesaro. Unless I'm mistaken, it was just kind of a cold match. They threw these two together, and I love Cesaro as a worker, but I didn't understand the reason for the match other than just pushing Ryback, which they seem to have like a rocket fuel push for this guy right now, and he just steps over Cesaro, and unless your take is different, I think it's just kind of to push Ryback up to the next level.
When you talk about, well, first of all, like I said, the match I think it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I think it was a lot hard hit, and I think the fans were behind it. The fans were neutral all night. It's Virginia, but it was a good crowd to me. The uppercuts was there, but you had to know that Ryback was going to get the upper hand. Sad to say. When Ryback comes out first, I'm just like, what jobber's coming out here? Mm-hmm. Now, I won't consider Cesaro a jobber, but it's like, well, we know it's going to lose. But Cesaro's been on this losing streak as of lately. from WrestleMania, winning that Andre the Giant Battle Royal. From there, it seems like, the hole in the ship, and it's just been sinking from there for Cesaro. I have people on my shows big fans of Cesaro. I'm not a big fan of Cesaro. Now, I think he got talent, and I think he's real skilled. It's just, I like to say time, okay? It's just not his time yet. So right now, they're just going to push other guys, do other stuff with them. There were news out last week that Kali was released, and for that, that's confirmed. But there's other guys still to come, and they said Cesaro will be on the list, but I don't think he's on the list. I think they can still use him. It'd be no point in getting rid of him that quickly. Even though I won't be surprised, but I doubt it. I think Cesaro's got a gift. I think he's got talent. Most people hoped he would have turned face. When he came out there and they thought he was on part of Team Cena, you could have brought the swing back. The fans would have been cheering for him. Maybe you can start back where you started last year around this time. But no, he turns around, makes it authority, and he's not a part of Team Cena, but it's just just to get Cena off of it there. But overall, I think Cesaro, he's good. The match was to push Ryback. I agree with you. Just another reign for Ryback and another loss for Cesaro.
Yeah, and, to me, you to bring up Cesaro is kind of, he isn't a jobber. He's definitely not a jobber, but he looks like he's got all the tools, and it looks like he just can't put it all together. I don't know if it's maybe just his gimmick, his persona, his mic skills, something on that end it's just a little bit off, and I can't put my finger on it. I think he'll eventually put it all together. He's just not quite there. So, I'd have to agree, but,
if I want to add, sorry about that, man. If I want to add this real quick, I think you're absolutely right about that because, didn't work with Heyman, as you've seen. I predicted when it first started, this is absolutely terrible because he doesn't have those nice skills. Yes. He doesn't. He can't speak. But to me, I don't know if this is a big thing that you should worry about, but the theme song, it just doesn't hit. When his theme song hits, it's like, okay, it's just, sirens going off or something. It has to mean something when that hits. I think it's all about theme, appearance. He just has something that's really just mold about me. It just doesn't click for me. I'm not excited to see this guy. To me, I'm iffy. I can care less if you win. I don't care less if you lose. Yeah. If you're here, you're here. If you're not, you're not.
Yeah, like he's a great technician. He's very skilled. He's definitely paid his dues to get where he is. He just doesn't have the it factor right now. I'm with you.
Yeah.
All right, well, moving down here, the next segment was Stephanie trying to divide Team Cena by pitting Big Show against Sheamus, and the winner gets a shot at the World Heavyweight title. And then obviously we had Rusev and Mark Henry interfere, so it was a disqualification. I think Big Show won, but by DQ, and then they just destroyed Big Show and Sheamus. So what was your take on that?
Well, here we go with Big Show and Stephanie promo. Just another one in the books. Once again, Stephanie trying to say, this time it was, you've been on and off. Heel face for how many years now? Mm-hmm. Back to WCW. You're pushed in the Hall of Fame right now. Now let's face it. If Big Show would have said no, which he did, he'd be in the Hall of Fame anyway. Just for being a giant. If he never won a championship, still be in the Hall of Fame. It's just he's just big, he's a giant. Remarkable guy, lovable guy. Big Show's good. My call says it's time for him to hang up the boots anyway. Him, Kane and Mysterio. Mysterio might not be back anyway. But it's time for those guys. So maybe it was the right move to make. But no, he said no. I thought, the whole persona of the winner gets the opportunity that gives the Brock Lesnar was funny. But that's going to really happen. We just needed something for these guys to have a reason to fight for, not just Stephanie said it. So that kind of got them on there, and it's just like, okay, I'm going to really fight this guy. And then here comes Mark Henry. He slams it on the table. You got Rusev holding that accolade in as long as he can to the Big Show. So this is another example, another prime example. If you were on Team Cena, this is what you get. Now, they did flip that angle. I'm curious what your answer is, because I was asked today. Sheamus got injured. That's what they said, and they eliminated every guy but Cena for Team Cena. And then Eric Roman is now in his place, and Sheamus is no longer a part of Team Cena. Do you think that injury angle is legit?
That, I did see that, and it's hard to tell on this one. It might be legitimate because I mean, Sheamus is obviously more established than Eric Rowan is. He's not as, I mean, Eric Rowan isn't as much of a threat as Sheamus is, so it's hard to tell. I mean, the only reason I would think it is a work, that it's just part of the plan, is that, Eric Rowan and Luke Harper are now on opposite teams, and that adds a little bit of an interesting dynamic because they were part of the Wyatt family. So I don't know on that. Usually it's pretty obvious. This one I'm not sure, because for a while they've been teasing that, and rumors have been going around that Sheamus is going to turn heel. And to me personally, I think Sheamus belongs a heel. He's just got that natural look. I don't like him as a babyface. So maybe this is part of that.
You know what? What I said today was, it could have been. We don't know. Maybe until later on. Mm-hmm. But I think it was a part of the angle, just because I like Swagger a lot. They did the same thing with Swagger. If he was a part of Team Cena, they knocked him out the equation. Sheamus is here, but for me, he's like a Cesaro for me. Sheamus is not going to be a big factor in this Team Cena versus Authority match. I think Eric Roman needs, the time more than Sheamus does. And when you add Luke Harper, you just got to automatically add Eric Roman. He's doing nothing. Just add him to the match. Sheamus can wait. Wasn't a big factor. I just thought you had to take out somebody. If you're Authority and you meant what you say, you took out Swagger, you had to take out every member. It's not meant to take him out during Raw, but have him show up for the main event and come out behind Team Cena. You want to take him out there completely. Right. So I just think it was just an angle, like they did with Swagger when he first got him in, then they took him right out. Even though Swagger had a match on SmackDown main event, I think it's Bray Wyatt, but I thought it was injured, so it'd be kind of weird how this all play out.
I agree. And earlier when you were talking about the Big Show, he is a guy who has flip-flopped back and forth for a while, from heel to face. And it's kind of to his detriment that he's been on WWE TV so much, because it's not as special to see him. In other words, like, he's been overexposed. So, it's hard to even get behind the Big Show half the time. I like the Big Show, but I'm not emotionally invested in him. He's never been quite a main event guy. He's been like upper mid card most of his career. But to keep this rolling, I could talk about Big Show and Sheamus for all night. But what did you think about the Big E promo, that New Day thing with Kofi, and it's almost like they got that Bo Leave thing going on, but in their own way. So what's your feelings on this whole new faction? Obviously,
no, I was excited for it at first. I think they all came back and was making domination. I forget the name call. Kofi, Big E, whatever you want. Then it kind of stopped it. Now it's a New Day. I was hoping a heel. To me, Kofi has been in the same spot for about 7 to 8 years. Yeah. He's been very neutral. He's been the same guy that comes out there, boom, boom, boom. Okay, we get it. But he's going nowhere. He'll win matches. I mean, I remember he won a match with Randy Orton. Randy Orton was the champion. So everybody's like, oh, maybe he can be number one contender. No, that meant nothing, because maybe he lost again. Mm-hmm. I mean, for a guy who's been in the business this long, you want to be overshadowed by guys like Damian Sandow or Seth Rollins. I mean, I wouldn't want to be. I think, Big E and Kofi, great tag team. I hope they'd be a great tag team, because, after all, we need more tag teams.
I definitely, I'm with you, because I love Kofi as a performer. He is one of the most athletic guys on the roster for sure. He always puts on great matches, but like you said, he's just been stagnant. So this is, I think, a good way to kind of repackage him and give him a breath of fresh air, and just see what he can do. I don't know if this faction's supposed to be a babyface or a heel faction, but either way, I think it'll be good for Kofi, because he has just been the same guy for, like you said, 7-8 years.
Absolutely. Hope for nothing but the best, though. Big E, absolutely, as well. Once again, tag team is just very thin. Very, very thin.
Yes.
All you got is Los Matadores, and so it seems like every time we turn around, we're getting the same matchups. We need a different pace. Hopefully that, Big E and Kofi can do that, and start a new feud instead of the Usos versus Wyatt family about 6 times, and then Goldust and Stardust about 3 times. It just seems to drag and drag and drag. And I thought at the beginning of the year we had the New Age Outlaws, and it just seems like that Triple H wanted to really boost up this division. They kind of went in and out though, so it's like now we're at that stage once again. We're back where we were last year. Where is the tag team division going?
Exactly. I mean, for a while, the tag team division was almost kind of forgotten about, and everyone was just on their own. So anytime there's a new tag team, and they've clearly tried to reestablish it, like you said, with Goldust and Stardust, the Usos, Los Matadores, which you forget about half the time, but I like it because it kind of changes the pace of the show, and I'll tell you, it is very difficult to watch a 3-hour Raw sometimes, especially when there's 15 commercial breaks. And the fact that they put commercial breaks inside of the main event matches, it's hard sometimes to focus on a 3-hour show. But the tag team division, I'm all for giving that a boost.
Absolutely, I think that's nothing but best for business. I think every division needs an increase. And as I mentioned, since we have one champion now, not going towards Brock Lesnar, so I don't care if John Cena's the champion. The mid card needs to be more boosted. At least the champion of the IC. When we had the war title, we can push both guys at once. But now you can't. So to me, that line that got bagged up. But that means we need to focus on the mid card, especially at the time of now when Les is not even on TV. We need to be pushing the IC champion to the farthest top. You know what I mean?
Yes.
We need to be having matches. I want to see guys want this. To me, this feels like US and IC means nothing. It's all about that one title, and that one title isn't here right now.
Exactly, and not to get into Brock Lesnar right now because we're going to get to that in a little bit because that's a topic that I know it's hard. But in essence of just kind of keeping this moving, the next segment on Raw, and there's only a couple more I got. It was just the Nikki versus Brie posing, and Brie was posing as AJ, and then AJ laying out both Bellas. Now there has been, I'm sure you've heard of rumors the past couple of months that AJ's leaving because she wants to start a family with CM Punk, and she is going to be ending her wrestling career apparently on Sunday. So to me, a loss on Sunday would mean she's done. Unfortunately, she is clearly the best women's wrestler right now. Although Paige is very good, she is the women's division right now. So I think WWE will be taking a big hit if these rumors are true.
You know what? Two things from my co-host's perspective and what he tells me, and I really kind of got addicted to what he said. One thing is with the whole rumor thing. There was two things. If you were part of the Total Divas, every season we got a new season. Mm-hmm. If you're a part of that Total Divas, you cannot be Divas champion, and that was the rule. That's what my co-host said. I have no idea. Yep. I can't really tell you. But so that means most of the Divas are Total Divas. You only have AJ and Paige, but Paige I heard was going on their next season or the season coming up. So it really narrows it down to two Divas, Alicia Fox, who's not on the Diva just yet, and, AJ. And, so to me, how can you drop it to someone that you don't want to be on TV? But then also, with the rumors, I guess they kind of flooded it off with, AJBrooks.com, with the website coming out. So with that being said, they thought maybe this is her last go around. Now I'm not going to say, well, I don't believe the rumors. I'm just going to go with AJ. I am taking that into consideration with my predictions, because it can happen. I mean, to me, if you're the owner of your event, even though it might not be true, I'll be skeptical. I mean, she is, Punk husband, and he did it. She can do it too. Or, if he says let's go, AJ's going to move when he says. They're married now. So, I mean, you always got to think about it. Just a pinch to think about it. About the whole match, the match was okay. She looked just like AJ. You had me fooled for a second there at WWE. The title wasn't there, so I'm like, the hair was flat on, had the same exact year. I thought their impression was great. And also, mentioned that, she turns her feet on the step before she gets in the ring like CM Punk does. That's what Brie did. So that was, great to pinpoint exactly what AJ does, when she comes out there. But yeah, I'm still excited to see Nikki versus AJ, come to that.
Yeah, maybe. I agree. I'm with you on that one. The last segment on the contract signing with Cena and Team Authority, my take on it was I love Cena's promos. Like, it's hard sometimes for me to cheer for John Cena because to me he's like the face of WWE TV PG. But not to get into that, but I always love Cena's promos, whether no matter who it's against, because you can tell he actually feels what he's saying. And it was interesting he was sitting outside the ring and just kind of laying it out to the Authority, and having Eric Rowan show up, and then Cesaro, who you thought was going to be on Team Cena, and then jumped into Team Authority and back them. Clearly, Ryback is obviously going to join Team Cena. He made it clear on Monday night. And then having Triple H get AA through the table was interesting as well. So what was your segment on the go home part of Raw?
Well, was there a contract signing? I was trying to remember. What did they sign? Oh, no, I don't think there was.
Yeah.
So we don't get a match then? No, okay. No, we don't get nothing. The whole thing for the whole build, we get nothing. I mean, that's why it was free, because you get nothing, because if it wasn't free, they want their money back.
Yep.
I understand why there's free this month. But no, on a serious note, I'm not one of those team haters. If you listen to the show, you know I don't. Oh my God, this guy's on TV again. I can't stand. I mean, most guys do, but I'm not.
Mm-hmm.
To me, Cena's like what you think. He's the face. He's been here for a long time. I'm going to accept what they give me. You have no choice unless you're going to start wrestling the product, and that's not going to happen, right? So to me, you just better adapt and to the product and to Cena, and just to get the love John Cena if you're a Cena hater. That's what I can say. But no, when Cena said, I'll just pick 5 guys or 4 guys from the crowd, that was great. You know, he's always that big popular guy, so you're going to get guys, put me on your team. I love the way they did it when they have, you know, Ziggler come out there, then you have Show, then a surprise Eric Rowan, Luke Harper looks at him like, oh, my brother, you know, they're white family. Cesaro making it funny. I mean, Stephanie says, oh, you guys see, look at you, look on your face, and then the Ryback music hits, she's like, oh, wow. We've been trying to get this guy, and it's like he's finally, you know, to me, the promo on the back when Cena says, well, you know, the biggest dish on your table, and you always want to say, feed me more, and he doesn't want to eat. You know, he looked at him, so I thought, you know, it was pretty obvious that that's the guy with Ryback. It was just kind of shocking that Sheamus was kind of like eliminated completely, but Show wasn't, and he fought, you know, faced the same type of thing that, you know, Sheamus got him more carrying in a different way. But, you know, overall, I think, you know, the go-home show was better than usual. I mean, the past couple months, we've been getting crappy go-home shows. I think we really get, you know, this is it. You should be wanting Survivor Series. You should want this Team Authority with the Team Cena, and it should be already packed down.
Yep. No, and since we might as well just jump right in here to the Survivor Series predictions. I'll start right at the top here. So, what is your prediction for Team Cena versus Team Authority on Sunday?
He's going to put me on the spot. No, it's easy. Yeah, I think and I heard, now I don't know if they said on SmackDown that Triple H made the ruling, because we have one ruling for Team Authority. If they lose, they're out of power.
Mm-hmm.
If Team Cena loses, nothing happens.
Yeah.
And we thought they should add, if Team Cena loses, he should no longer be the number one contender. But on SmackDown, I heard that it was confirmed that if Team Cena loses, everyone on Team Cena is fired.
Oh, I did not know that.
Yes, everyone on Team Cena is fired. So therefore, you know, it kind of goes into play where Triple H says your career, your life, and, you know, everything is on the line. So kind of adapting to that. Well, I thought they should have added this, you know, stipulation. Not this one specifically. I like the number one contender one. Just put it right on Cena, because if you Matt, were in power, and someone told you that if you lose this match, this will happen, but you're still the manager and you're still the boss, I will make something for Team Cena. So to me, it's obvious to say that Team Authority is past its time. They've been around for a year now. Week after week, they try to be here and try to be that heel, and you boo them every time they open up Raw. I just think it's time. It's just getting to the point where, okay, I can sit off the Authority for a while. It'd be out of power. I'm sure Triple H and, you know, Stephanie, they're tired of coming every week and coming out here and doing stuff with different guys, something with Daniel Bryan in the beginning of the year and now end of the year with John Cena. So I'm going to go for Team Cena to win this match. I think it gets a little close. I think Cena is the last one remaining. He looks around like, oh gosh, I'm by myself. You have 3 or 4 guys for Team Authority. Rusev, I think you do save him though. I don't think he gets eliminated by anyone. You save his undefeated thing by having him either, you know, like a walkout, have him fight someone to the back. You know how to usually hit, and they go all the way to the back.
I absolutely, and I think Rusev is obvious. He's clearly one of the top heels in the organization, so they're going to protect him by having him, you know, not get pinned or submit cleanly. So I'm with you on that. And here's a little bit of a part of the match that we didn't discuss that's a huge possibility is Randy Orton returning to screw the Authority, which my guess would be that it will come down to, it will probably be Cena versus 3 members, you know, maybe Rollins, Rusev, and someone else. And I think it's going to come down to Cena and Rollins, and it looks like Cena's going to lose, and then out of nowhere, an RKO on Rollins. What's your take?
Absolutely. I mean, he's got knocked out a couple weeks on Raw because he filmed the damn 2 or something like that. So the way they wrote off Dean Ambrose with the curve to the center blocks is kind of the same way, but with still steps. It's in his hometown. I heard rumors they would come back on Raw, and I said no. So for sure, since we didn't see him last night, 2 nights ago, for sure he's going to interfere. He's going to cost Seth Rollins, and we get this Randy Orton and Seth Rollins feud, and I think we get that match at TLC. So he will be the cost for the loss. Even if it wasn't for Randy Orton, I was still going with Team Cena though. Cena won't let you down. But yeah, for sure, since if everyone's getting fired, I know what would the WWE do if every member was technically fired, including John Cena. But yeah, Randy Orton in his hometown in St. Louis, he's definitely coming back. He's going to cost the authority to lose.
I can't see it ending any other way. And with that stipulation, I didn't know that's added on SmackDown. It's kind of a no-brainer. It's kind of a lock that Team Cena's going to win. Yeah.
And to me, they like to fool us. They like to trick us sometimes. Like with AJ and Paige, they went back and forth, pay-per-view, title change after title change, and I'm just like my brain has to blow up. What do they want to do? And they might want to make it obvious. Okay, Team Cena's going to win, but maybe they want to keep the Authority around. But no, most people are saying that this just leads up to Triple H and Vince McMahon feud at WrestleMania. They're going to get a match. Triple H is pissed off, all because of Vince. This is happening. Vince is his face now. The crowd love him. Vince versus Triple H for WrestleMania is what they want to go to.
Yeah, that's true. And that's why I said at the beginning of the show, this lays the foundation for the road to WrestleMania. So I think, like you said, once the Authority's out of power, it could lead to a Triple H versus Vince or somebody. I'm not sure, but this is definitely laying the groundwork for that.
Right. Yeah.
So, all right, down the card here, Bray Wyatt versus Dean Ambrose. I think you gave it to us earlier, but if you want to elaborate on who wins and why.
Oh, yeah, talk about that. This match, once again, is you want to pick one guy, you got to pick only one. They both need it. I'm a big fan of Seth Rollins, and that's why I picked him over Dean Ambrose every time. And with Bray Wyatt, I'm a big fan of Bray Wyatt. It's just the first ball has to go to Bray Wyatt. Dean Ambrose is the face. They'll love me either way it go. With Bray Wyatt, he never gets to his points. That's what Dean Ambrose throws on Raw, and I think he really needs to submit this win and let everybody know I can save you and Dean Ambrose. You can't beat me. I'm going to Bray Wyatt over Dean Ambrose.
I'd have to agree with you because, as we mentioned earlier, this feud is just beginning, and I expect it to be very physical. Since I don't believe it's not a no DQ, it's a regular match. So I think their next match will be a no DQ, and then maybe a cage match to end this feud. But I think there's going to be a very physical match. These two are both great performers, and the promos I think are just going to get better and better as the weeks and months go on. Yeah,
Bray Wyatt with his promos, he still creeps me out. I don't know. It's just something about his appearance, and he says, a man who has nothing to lose is the most dangerous, and, being average, nothing more than a pathetic attempt. Everything adds up, and, Bray Wyatt still, I think he's great on the mic. He just needs more in-ring time, and, people behind the scenes to get more behind for Bray Wyatt.
I agree, and it's interesting because WWE has positioned him as a heel. They keep trying to force him as a bad guy, and the crowd just keeps embracing Bray Wyatt because he's just so entertaining and so believable, and just so much different than anybody else on the roster. And everyone has their cell phone lights out when he comes out, and that to me that's not a heel. So I think they could easily turn the switch, and this guy's going to be a huge babyface down the road.
Oh, yeah, I can see that happen. I think that'd be maybe best. Because it's not working out now. For the past 6 months, it has not been working. You got to wait and get Daniel Bryan at the beginning of the year. It's working last year. Yeah, you're doing this, but has it been a successful year for Bray Wyatt? I want to say no. And maybe turning, sometimes you just got to hit the switch, like you said, and if the heel's not working, babyface is the option.
Mm-hmm. This guy could easily, either way, he's got the skill, and I think a main event level talent, no question down the road. Okay, so the Nikki versus AJ for the Divas title. Who wins?
Man, it's hard to hear from my guys and what they're actually saying and this and that. I always thought that Nikki would be champion before Brie. And when you do that, I thought, with this whole 30 days, they just want to kind of drag this and drag it and drag it into WrestleMania. Hopefully for Brie Bella can get her WrestleMania moment right after her husband did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And she wins the title and she has her yes moment. Daniel Bryan will be absent most likely this year. If not, then, Brie and Daniel Bryan can have both their spotlights. You know what I mean? And with the rumors going around with AJ, this is a tough one. I'm going to have to say, and hopefully he was cast and AJ leaving. I'm going to go with just to say AJ retains. I will disregard the rumors right now. I just possibly think the Tony Diva things could be split in clause. I don't think AJ can just leave like that. It has to be something in her contract or she doesn't seem like that type of person. So she's not like a CM Punk. Even though they're married, she's a, lovable person. She's great and she leaves. She'll probably let him know a little bit earlier and it'll be more not just after this. I'm completely gone.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me, it's hard to. I mean, if you take the rumors aside, if you just disregard them as totally false, then I would say AJ wins. And for now, I will probably say AJ retains until I actually see her leave the company. I'm not going to buy it yet. But it's also interesting too because Brie is now the personal assistant for Nikki, but that ends, I believe, it's either Sunday or the Monday Night Raw. So right. Maybe Brie actually screws Nikki out of the title because she's no longer under her services, or that's also an element too that can happen.
Oh, that works. Actually, that makes sense a lot. I think they got 8 days. Even though Sunday, I mean, you can still screw her over, but you're still her assistant. But the next day, it's already over. And it's about almost midnight. You can do something afterwards, like look at the time. You're done. I don't know if you want to start that. I mean, I think that would be the start of something new. I mean, we've seen this for months now. This whole Brie, the whole SummerSlam thing. I mean, how long have you been since SummerSlam? August now. So to me, to hold off to WrestleMania is going to be some more elements and kind of hold it off until WrestleMania.
Okay. Yeah. No, I'd have to definitely agree with you on that. The Fatal 4-Way Tag Team title match, Goldust and Stardust versus the Usos versus Los Matadores versus Mizdow. Who takes this one?
Well, when you look at it, I'm surprised that they put the titles on the line because, once again, we just defeated the Usos. And usually when that happens, you don't defend a title at the pay-per-view. Something like the Usos did. Before SummerSlam, they defended it. And at SummerSlam, they did not defend the titles. Well, to me, it's a surprise type of thing. When they do this, they want to change something. I like Stardust and Goldust, but, they're going to drop it to a face, and the upcoming face is Miz and, Mizdow. I just think, and like you said on the show, it's only a matter of time. If they don't do it now, I mean, when will you do it? Possibly TLC, I can see a, tag team ladder match, Stardust and Goldust versus the Miz and Mizdow. Completely, just, a one-on-one tag team match. If that makes sense at all. So they could retain just to, skip this pay-per-view and go to TLC, and then they can finally take it there. So, it's another tough one that's going to really bother me. I'm going ahead and go with, I'm going to go with Star and Goldust retaining, just because I think it would be better to do this and have it at TLC. I think Mizdow comes really close, and maybe that sets up, makes sure they're number one contender, and maybe they go for TLC. I think you do it at TLC, in my eyes.
Okay. Yeah, no, I mean, it's clearly either going to be Goldust and Stardust or Mizdow. There's no way that Usos or Los Matadores are going to win. It's just kind of obvious from the way the storylines are going, but I'm going to go with Mizdow only because they seem to be catching on fire a little bit. Not super hot, but as a tag team, especially Damien Sandow, who's the star of the team, I'm going to go with them just because they're kind of the flavor of the week, if you will, for the tag team division right now. So that's really the only reason I'm going with it, but I could easily see, as you said, Goldust and Stardust retaining and then kind of dropping it at TLC next month.
Yeah, I just think that'd be better. I'm going to really, it's going to be bothering me. By tomorrow, I was going to be like, oh, well, maybe I might want to go with, the Mizdow. Like I said, when you're on fire, you want to cool off. But I just think they want to do it in the proper way. It'd just be better for TLC. You can skip that pay-per-view kind of, and then for the new year, you start up with Mizdow.
Yep. All right. So those are your predictions. You're going with Team Cena to win, Bray Wyatt to beat Dean Ambrose. You're saying AJ retains and Goldust and Stardust are going to retain as well. Mm-hmm. So, I'm going to just shoot a couple of questions at you to close it out here. Just some kind of interesting topics right now in WWE that we didn't cover in the pay-per-view predictions. The first one is, how much longer can WWE stick with the part-time schedule of Brock Lesnar without devaluing the championship?
I think this doesn't last long into WrestleMania. I think I can take it for now. I think if we can go on was it the best move to put the title on Lesnar, but I think he will retain it at TLC if he defends it. If he doesn't defend it into the Royal Rumble, he'll retain it, and at WrestleMania, I think that's when he drops it. I think afterwards he'll still be on that part-time schedule, but he won't be the champion. I think it was all due that, he has been so dominant, and then from beating Taker, he has to be the champion. One more time, give him the champion. Around this time of the year, you can kind of do it, and then next year, he's still your marquee guy. He's still a moneymaker, just like John Cena. He's just as big. And you have him as the champion at your pay-per-view WrestleMania 31. Makes lots of money, makes sense to me, but he will drop it. We can't last. We don't want to go longer than WrestleMania with having no champion in Raw. It's already a pain as it is now.
Yeah, no, and actually, and I don't know if you listened to the Ross report with Jim Ross, but he brings up a good point about the fact that if he was WWE right now, he would make sure that it's either yay or nay as far as Brock Lesnar re-signing with the company past WrestleMania, because his contract is only good till I think the night after WrestleMania as it currently stands. So if WWE is investing in Brock Lesnar moving forward, they better know that he is either staying or going, or what is he doing, because with this part-time schedule, and this part-time schedule, at first I didn't mind it, and it does add a little bit of value or kind of specialty when Brock Lesnar is seen on Raw or a pay-per-view. It's kind of special, and the thing is, though, this has become so part-time, he's taking so much time off that it is almost hurting the championship and hurting the company, because the championship hasn't been defended, and now this will be the second pay-per-view in a row. So it's going to be interesting to see when Lesnar exactly drops the belt.
Yeah, I think it's hurting us because he's our champion.
Yes.
Now, if he wasn't our champion, it could be a different story. We can come back at WrestleMania. We can skip for it. Well, you can skip all that. And then at WrestleMania when you do it. Now the question is, if he resigns, even if he loses the title, who knows? He can be pissed off, have a backstage interview, like, I'm not coming back. We can have the champion. Or I think you might want to keep him just another year. He's still valuable to me. I still think he can have another, I think he could have his rematch, Action Rules. That can be a big thing for you. If he can hold off, if he'll leave for a while, come back at SummerSlam and get his rematch that he never got since he lost the WrestleMania. You can still be. I still think he's valuable. The price hasn't ran down on him. I think you can use it for another year. I think you re-sign him. I think that's an important thing to do. You re-sign him after this year.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody saw that Brock Lesnar beating Undertaker last year at WrestleMania. I think I was standing in front of the TV with my jaw open. I couldn't believe it. I was waiting for the match to get restarted. I was waiting for Vince to come out, something to happen, because you couldn't believe it. And once he did that, though, and I actually started to realize the reasons behind the decision of Brock Lesnar beating the Undertaker, it clearly meant that we're putting the company on this guy's shoulders moving forward. So, it kind of was like, this is our guy, and we're going with him, and he's going to be champion very soon. And that was the case. So now that he is very sporadically on Monday Night Raw, if he is going to drop the belt at WrestleMania, which I would guess is the plan right now, and it's been rumored to be Roman Reigns, I really hope that, if Roman Reigns is ready, that when it does happen, that Roman Reigns isn't forced down the throats of the WWE Universe, and it actually gives Roman Reigns the rub, or he's the next big guy, and it's done the right way.
Excuse me. I had to stop the joke there because, not with you personally, but with the whole Roman Reigns idea. I don't trust him to main event WrestleMania. I don't want him to be our champion after WrestleMania. I don't want to see Roman Reigns be involved in the title picture from WrestleMania. Yeah, he'd be fresh off a comeback, and they might do it anyway. He might win the Royal Rumble this time, and he might go on to WrestleMania. But that's not something I want to see. I think when you heard, Kurt Angle's not coming back, and everybody's got right back to be the one to beat Rusev. I think you have a Rusev and Roman Reigns feud. I think that's a hard hitting type of match I want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I think you put them there, even though you might use them for something better. But this year won't be the time. There's a lack of absence, and to me, he's just not that big of a guy to just come back and just do all this main event and stuff. Yeah. I trust him against Rusev when in the U.S. I don't want him in the main event.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you. I mean, I feel like it'll be rushed. It's kind of a panic mode that WWE will go into, but he's not ready. Roman Reigns is not ready for the title, in my opinion. Even by the time WrestleMania rolls around, he needs time to develop, and I don't know I think it's just that the WWE fans are impatient and they want everything right now. But this guy needs time to develop and be put in main event level matches without the title. I think that's what he needs. He needs time to develop his character, especially his promo skills, because we know those aren't his strong points for sure. This guy's got the physical tools to do it, but right now I just don't feel he's ready. I'm with you.
And when he had that interview, I think I recall him saying he's coming after Seth Rollins. He didn't mention anything but the championship unless they just bypass that idea.
Mm-hmm.
I think you can have I think Seth can, defeat his members of the Shield and have that in his books. I won't mind seeing Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins come. Who knows about that cash in? Is still skeptical if it's going to be unsuccessful or successful.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where you put it in, who you cash against. But yeah, Roman Reigns, I don't want him near the title.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with you. All right, moving down. 2 more questions. This one is a rumor, and I don't know if how much truth there is to this, but what would you think of a Rock versus Triple H at WrestleMania this year match? And the only reason I'm asking is it does have a little bit of validity because it was teased during the 15th anniversary of SmackDown where they kind of started bickering at each other and then it turned serious. So what's your take on that if it were to happen?
Okay, if it was to happen, I will buy it. To me, I'll watch it. I don't know if it's going to be like the blockbuster main event, but I think it'd be something to look out for. With The Rock kind of being in there, he's been there for, years now, with John Cena and now this. He was the host one year of this. He came back last year, but just in the ring with Stone Cold Hulk Hogan. I'll buy it. Now, I don't see it. Mm-hmm. That's something I don't see it. I can get behind the Vince thing more than I can with this, or anything else. I think that's just a really big tease when we got the 15th anniversary. Yeah. I don't think they just lay it out there that early that, this is the WrestleMania match, you guys go. They kind of want to wait and let us, they tease us a lot, and they're going to keep teasing us and that's what we like. To me, I like to be unpredictable, and I don't want to be just, that's going to happen, and it happened. I want something to kind of get me twisted and have us all talking by next year what's going to happen, and being confused. But I don't see it. I like it, but I don't see it.
Okay. No, I can see it, and I think, like you said, it was just kind of a big tease to, it's this is probably not going to happen, but if it does, here's the groundwork for it, and then we can go back to this and this is where it started. But I'm with you. I'd give it an 80% chance of not happening. So, all right, final question, and this is a big one that's rumored every single year at WrestleMania. Do you ever see Stone Cold Steve Austin coming back for one more match?
Yes. Now, don't see it this year, but next year we might be talking business around WrestleMania 32. I heard rumor in Texas, his hometown. He'll be right there in the area. We'll be starting to talk about a podcast. I know there's a tease this year, but that just means he's around. He's talking about it. He was there last year. I think if Hogan can do it and The Rock is doing it and Brock is doing it, he's the only one left. And I think next year we could definitely get a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin. I'll be surprised. I will be surprised if we get it this year. I don't see Stone Cold being this year. I think you want to have a fresh build-up for like almost a year like The Rock did. I think it's kind of out there. It. Stone Cold competing at WrestleMania 2 is a def go. And if it's going to be the time of one opponent, or if you just want to have the opponent thrown out there, and then we just build up that match for nearly a year, like we did with The Rock and Johnson.
I'm totally with you on this, because to me, this is Stone Cold has drawn more money and was the most popular superstar ever in professional wrestling, hands down. And this guy, in order for WWE to completely take advantage of, if Stone Cold decided to come back for a match, they would have to, like you said, kind of plant a seed a year out and let this build for a year so that it draws more attention. It won't just be suddenly we see a match or kind of made 2 or 3 months before WrestleMania 32. But if and when it's going to happen, to me, next year in Texas, like you said, his home state, and it's the perfect opportunity in Cowboy Stadium, 100,000 people there, set a record of people as far as attendance, and let Stone Cold do what he does best. The only thing that is hindering, I think, his decision to return is the fact that, and he's mentioned this several times, that he has such high standards for himself that he would not want to come back just to come back. He would want to come back to actually be Stone Cold. And he said it was going to require at least, 3-4 months of intense training to do it. And, he said that, could it be done? Yes. He said, but, I'll get myself all amped up. I'm going to get myself mentally back in WWE. He said it took him about 5 years to get wrestling out of his blood. So he said, to do one match, after the match is over, then what, So I'm with you. If it's going to happen, next year would be the time and place to do it.
Yeah, I agree with you, and he's probably said a lot on this podcast. I used to listen to it, like, when it first was launching, when it first was big, but it's just like everyone's doing it now. JR and you got Ryan Piper, all these guys are doing it. It's hard to catch up on who's saying what. So when the sources come out, I kind of just dissect and say the original topic. But I'll be telling me that I just think next year would be best, and I don't want it to be overloaded. You know what I mean? If you want to have The Rock and Triple H go at it, or even the Vince coming back as to be another marquee guy against Triple H, and then Hulk Hogan's been talking for a while. I don't want it to be overcrowded with all these Hall of Famers, these legends, and it can somehow, that would be the main topics, and we don't care about Lesnar. Well, Lesnar, I think, would be another one at the top. But, Bray Wyatt was competing, or the tag team titles. Those are the matches we only care about. You are kind of burying the current talent with all these other guys, and I know I hear a lot year after year around this time. I'm so tired of these old guys showing up and main eventing. I want to see current guys. I want you to, push the younger guys. Younger talent is our future.
Exactly. I'm with you. I mean, the young guys are the future of the WWE. It's cool to see these old guys come back and have a match every now and then. Of course it is, but like you said, if next year it is an ensemble cast, or it's kind of a throwback cast of The Undertaker having his retirement match, and then The Rock maybe versus Triple H, it'd kind of water down wrestling or WrestleMania. If it was mostly, if 75% of the card was the younger guys being main event level, and then there was just Stone Cold versus like you said, John Cena, I think that'd be okay. But the main focus should be on the younger talent.
Absolutely. And when you talk about Taker, that's another topic. Seriously go through. I mean, I think we can possibly have one more match, but it wouldn't be about the streak. It would be more, like you said, a retirement match.
Yep.
And I don't think it should be this year either. I think he's from Texas as well. I think he do it the same way Stone Cold does it. It's just when he comes back, now don't get me wrong, Taker's my favorite guy, and I don't want to go into any topics, but I just think that when he came back this year, it was just, okay, the lights went off and your song is hitting. I don't get that presence. I don't get that spooky, anymore. I don't get anything. You just year after year. Now the hair is a factor. I'm just like not buying the guy at all. But it's part of life. It's just I don't get anymore. Now if you skip a year, and next year we hear that music and you hear the lights come off, and it's not Bray Wyatt, because who knows who it'll be? Like come 2 years from now, it's gonna be Taker or Bray Wyatt, or everyone's using the whole life thing. Then I might be like, oh, okay, he's fast, and he wants business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and Taker is one of my favorite guys too. He is the most respected guy in the business, hands down. But I think it might be time for him to ride off into the sunset. And I was actually watching the Brock Lesnar Undertaker match at WrestleMania. I was actually like legitimately concerned for his well-being. I guess he got a concussion early in the match, and then I think he's starting to realize his body's starting to kind of break down on him, and I think he knows either this year or next year would be the final match. But I think it's important for WWE to monetize this whole match and let the audience know that this is his retirement match. It'll draw more eyeballs to the product and obviously create more revenue for them.
I think when you say that, it makes everything clear. His health is a major issue that you want to look at and make sure he's 100%. If you ask me, I would love to see one more match, but since the streak is over, it kind of, to me, very well, it's like, it's like it's over already. To me, Taker said, to end me, you end the streak. And when Lesnar did that, you can also say you ended Taker. And then you can go back and say, well, did Brock Lesnar end Taker by ending the streak, or was it, the guy who beat Taker, the year after or 2 years after? It would be sad to have, Taker, retire with an L. You kind of want to see him, at his highest peak and with another win at WrestleMania just to end on the bag. Because right now,